Yo guys, what is up and welcome back to a brand new video here today and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode. And today we are back for some more action. This time it's the US GP at the Circuit of the Americas. If you guys missed the last episode, it'll be linked in the top right hand corner of your screen for the round 18 race at Mexico, and also linked in the top right hand corner will be a video that I did last night in which you guys can go vote for my team for next season in this series. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the videos guys and check them out. But today we are here at the US Grand Prix and this is my first match point in terms of the championship. We can win it this weekend. It's going to be difficult, but it is possible. So we'll see how it pans out. In terms of this weekend, the weather forecast looks pretty positive in terms of the weather conditions. Also in terms of upgrades, nobody really bringing in anything, as of course everyone's saving up for the regulation reset next season, and that's going to be where the priorities lie. And with that, we now jump into qualifying this weekend at this circuit. A circuit that is a good circuit, it's a fun circuit, one that I don't mind, racing at, but I've never really been fast around here, at least not that fast. There is Max Verstappen. The pressure is on him this weekend because he needs to try and, close the gap and claw back some points on us. So we'll see how that one pans out. But here we go, jumping on board now with our first of 3 runs in this session, 3 time laps. And to be fair, this actually felt like a really good lap at the time. I was actually really happy with this one. And you'll see now George Russell currently P1 in the second Red Bull as we exit the final corner, opening up the DRS, and we go for third, 2.5 tenths behind him, actually even behind Sebastian Vettel. So even though the lap felt good, the pace wasn't quite there. On my second attempt, we was up by about 2 tenths of a second. This was a much better lap. We lose a bit of time on the exit there, but now going through this next left-hander, we find a bit more time, and we go back to the kind of 2/10 window. We get a bit of a shaky exit though, we lose more time once again, and just kind of been a bit inconsistent really, as we now make our way into the front couple of corners, and then trying to push hard, I actually make a mistake, cut the corner and invalidate my lap. So I decided to just pretty much straight away just pit in, box and strap on a fresh set of tyres, and this was my best lap of the session, and oh my goodness me, what a lap it was. So let's run on board for a full lap of the US GP, and I'll get back to you once it's over.
Seconds left in the session.
Out the final corner, trying to go up through the gears, opening up the DRS, and we go P2, 2.5 tenths behind Max Verstappen, who set a pretty damn fast lap time of the 0.6, and we did our best. Eventually, Verstappen improved to a 0.4, which is just ludicrous in terms of lap time. He was nearly 6 tenths quicker than his own teammate, and Kvyat in the end actually got a really good P2. We did the best we could, and we was almost half a second off Verstappen, but Max Verstappen today dropping a bombshell of a lap time, and something that nobody's going to beat. Kvyat though does get onto the front row, and we're on the second row alongside George Russell. Charles Leclerc P5 for the Haas team, and Sebastian Vettel behind him in the Mercedes. Then it's Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz in 8th or 7th and 8th, sorry, and then we've got Bottas and Giovinazzi rounding out the top 10. Further down we do have Lewis Hamilton missing out on the top 10 in P11 in the second racing point. Behind him, of course, we have Nico Hulkenberg, Pierre Gasly, Alexander Albon, and then we have Magnussen and Raikkonen behind them. We have Lando Norris and Ricciardo on the penultimate row, with once again Grosjean and Stroll bringing up the rear here for the US GP qualifying. But that is it, and those are your results. We're now going to move into the race and once again attempt damage limitation, because of course Verstappen seems to be very fast around here this weekend. Okay, so here we are then on the grid for the start of the US Grand Prix, and we start from third place behind Verstappen and Kvyat, and the permutations are as follows. The gap between myself and Max Verstappen is of 42 points, so today we need to outscore Verstappen by a difference of 9 points. That would mean us winning the race and Verstappen finishing third or lower. So it's going to be difficult because I think we're going to struggle to beat Verstappen, let alone him finishing in third place. I think today, if anything's going to happen, I think we're going to be relying upon him having a car issue or, even retiring from the Grand Prix. Having said that, I think what we can do is try and keep the points advantage. So for me, the target is to win the race, of course. That would still mean we extend our lead. And if not, second place, damage limitation is the best we can do. In terms of the strategy for today, we're going to start on the soft tyres that we qualified on and then move on to the mediums a little bit later on. Very straightforward, one-stop strategy. And fuel-wise, we are running 1.5 laps extra. At this point, we can start to use the engine a bit more because the engine wear is looking pretty good. So let's see how we get on. The pressure is on Verstappen, of course, to try and close the gap, and he has to win here today, and that would give him the best chance of winning the championship. And also, if he can pick up the fastest lap, that would give him an extra point as well. But for us, we just got to try and do the job, damage limitation, and keep it clean. So let's jump into it, and let's see how we get on here for the US Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. Start is critical as the 5 lights are on. And we are underway for the USGP. Good start from Kvyat. He gets the jump on Verstappen. Meanwhile, we've had a poor start into turn 1. We're kind of in the middle of the pack here. We've got to be careful. Kvyat takes the lead in the race, which is great news for us. We're down to P6, which is not what I had in mind. A really poor getaway from us behind Leclerc and also Sebastian Vettel, George Russell as well, getting the jump on us. Good thing is though, Kvyat has hit the front, so Verstappen can't run away with it just yet. Still, it's going to be a long race. 28 laps. It's one of the longer races on the calendar in terms of timing. Behind Singapore, I believe it's the second longest, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, down the hill for the first time as we now go into the hairpin. Let's see if we can try and make quick, progress and try and make light work of these guys and get ourselves back into podium contention. We need to at least finish on the podium today, otherwise we could be in trouble. Let's see how we get on here as we make our way down to the heavy brake zone for the first time. Looks like nobody's going to challenge us, which is good. So for now, we'll remain in P6. Also, Kvyat remains in first place, which is good as we take a big chunk of that apex. Probably a bit too much. Luckily for us, we didn't get a warning for track limits. But yeah, let's get our head down and let's see if we can try and work our way back through these guys and potentially try and get ourselves back into the podium. For now, though, we're struggling to get the car switched on. Some kind of incident behind us. There's a green flag. Someone's had an issue in the S's, but it's behind us. It's a Renault slowing down as we have our first retirement of the race already. Will it trigger a VSC or a safety car? Let's find out. Kevin Magnussen out of the Grand Prix. Seems like we're going to continue on here and nothing's going to happen. So head down. Let's keep pushing. For now, Kvyat still holding P1, but I'm struggling to get close to these guys here until they turn their engine down. Seems like I can't quite match their pace at the moment. Another big lock up into the hairpin there. That's not going to help. Very good first sector from us. Wasn't a personal best, but we got ourselves into DRS range over Leclerc. Yeah, that's okay. We've sorted it out, mate. Right, let's just close the gap on Leclerc a little bit if we can. We know our straight line speed is good. Kvyat being put under some pressure by Verstappen, but he's hanging on. He's still keeping that first place, which is exactly what we want. Again, not allowing Verstappen to get away is the perfect strategy. Let's see if we can try and end the lap strong here. It's getting to that point now where the AI turn their engines down a little bit now. They normally run push mode for the first 2 laps. So now it should be going our way a little bit, and now we'll start to have the chance to make a move on these guys. Here we go. Now we're talking. Purple sector 1. Let's try and close in on this Haas down to the hairpin. The black and silver Haas of Charles Leclerc. There we go. Nice tidy exit out of there. Not the best one, but good enough. Even though Leclerc has DRS, we still might have a chance here. He doesn't have much of a slipstream, which is good. Here we go. We're going to try and get this overtake done. On the brakes. Easy does it. Hitting the apex beautifully. And Kvyat still holding on to P1 as we progress up into the top 5. Here we go. Let's keep this going. Very important overtake this. Personal best, even with the overtake. No DRS on the pit straight though.
It should be a few laps at least before you start feeling too many tyre issues. They seem in good condition for the time being.
The tyres do feel okay. Wear levels seem good as we try and close in on these guys. We're now back in DRS range, which is good. We do now have a 6-car breakaway. As Verstappen tries to put a move on Kvyat here. Here we go. Kvyat seemingly though holding on for now. Yes, he does. Very important. But yeah, we've got a 6-car breakaway. All of these guys and Leclerc behind me, although to be fair, Leclerc's just starting to drop back a little bit now. He can't quite keep up with the pace. Sebastian Vettel, they're doing a good job in the Mercedes to keep in there. Just feel like I'm starting to struggle my tyres a little bit. The pace from these guys is very good, very relentless. It's not letting off, it's very consistent, so we're going to have to really work hard for this. You kind of tell because even the Red Bulls, they can't get past Kvyat. Kvyat's doing a stellar job out front, but the pace from all 4 of these guys is very strong. Rear tyres are starting to go a little bit. You can feel the back end getting loose through the S's. It can't keep up with the speed of the car, which is, you know, to be expected. At this point, we're just trying to hang on and get to the pit stop phase, and then maybe we can do something there. Feels like Seb might just be dropping off a little bit from these 2, or these 3 should I say, but myself I can't quite close in enough. Of course DRS very effective here, but let's see, I think Verstappen might have a chance this time of getting past Kvyat. Verstappen's going to get on the inside this time into the brake zone. Kvyat runs in hot, and he lets him go, and now Russell's having a look as well, but Verstappen hits the front. It took him 8 laps, but Kvyat's defence comes to an end, and Verstappen, who's been the fastest guy around here all weekend long, hits the front. Let's see what happens now. We need to try and get past Sebastian Vettel if we can.
Some information on Vettel. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Oh, there we go. That's going to make things a lot easier for us. Seb struggling with his Mercedes. Just going to have to be a little bit patient for now. You can definitely see him slowing up suddenly. Let's see if we can get on the back straight. Be patient. Seb locks up, which doesn't help. I was going to go for the switch back, but we'll hang on. There we go. We'll make this a nice easy move. The problem is we have lost contact with the front 3, which is not ideal. Right. Let's see if we can catch back up to these front 3 without the DRS. It's going to be very difficult. Okay, Kvyat pits. Early stop.
Daniel is in the pits. Daniel in the pits.
That tells me he's going to go for the hard tyres.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Whereas we are going for the mediums. This also tells me the Red Bulls are going to stretch it to medium tyre territory, it seems. So, interesting strategies. I don't think Kvyat will 2-stop. That's suicidal, really. There's no point. So, I think Kvyat's going to go for the hard compound tyres. And I think the Red Bulls are going for medium. So, Kvyat could be out of this now, out of the battle because of that. Which means it's a Red Bull 1-2, which is also going to help them in the Constructors. So, now it's down to me to try and make something happen. If I can just split these Red Bulls and get ahead of Russell, I'd be happy. Verstappen pits. Okay, interesting. We're going to commit to our usual strategy of lap 12.
Box. We're coming in this lap.
Yeah, we're coming in this lap. I'm going to see if I can get close to Russell, maybe get him in the pit stops. My tyres have had it. I should have put on that last lap with Verstappen. Russell's actually pulled away on this lap. Going to turn the engine down as we box for a one and only stop here today onto the medium tyres. Let's push the pit entry. See if we can make some progress and catch up to Russell a bit. We do take the cone with us, but that's okay. Right, that was a good entry. We're not going to get him, but hopefully we can stay close. Fingers crossed there's no cars between me or Russell on the restart. Here we go.
Go now.
Not the best stop, 2.1. We've seen better from the boys, but here comes Max and then Kvyat not too far behind him, but we are going to get free track. Will Kvyat get Russell though? That's the question.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
He won't be in front of him, but he's going to be right behind him. Let's see if we can put him under some pressure maybe. But Kvyat isn't the hard tyres as I expected. Right, let's see. It's going to be a stint now where we focus and try to catch Russell. That's the best we can do here today. Okay, we've got DRS on our teammate. I think we're a bit too far back though to go for a move. Kvyat dropping back. Russell has good pace, really good pace. It's going to be hard to beat him at the minute. It really is. I've just got to try and stay close. Running that very hard on the brakes there. The overspeed catching me out. Let's see if we can get Kvyat on the pit straight maybe. If I can just get a good exit out of here, which I'm not very good at compared to the AI. That's good enough though. This should do the trick. Kvyat defends the inside, but we're going to go for it. For turn 1, a little bit hot on the brakes, but that's okay. We'll kind of rotate the rear end. Job done. P3 once again. Let's try and catch Russell. I really thought I had DRS there. Gap is bang on 1 second. Personal best, we've dropped Kvyat. We should have it this time on the back straight, hopefully. Sector 1 is my strongest sector. Ooh, pushing a lot here, trying to get the DRS. But we've got there in the end. We've made it. Now we've got to try and get a little bit closer to try and prepare an overtake. Oh, Charles Leclerc out of the race in the Haas. Second retirement. Again, no VSC or safety car. So we continue on our way as normal. Struggling to get close to him, even though I'm in DRS. Just finding it really difficult. Feels like he's just turned his engine up a little bit on this lap as well. On the last lap or so. Having to use full engine power on straights to close the gap with DRS, otherwise he'd be dropping me. So we're hanging in there. It might be a chess game where we just hold on until the last lap before we make a move. Personal best from us. Pace is good, but I just can't quite close up to him at the minute. This is the closest we've been. Do I think about it? Into the brake zone on the back straight. Let's see what exit we get. It's not too bad actually. We might just get close enough to make a move. Depends what engine mode Russell's using. I think we're going to be okay. Here we go. Let's challenge him. I thought about it, but Russell actually was pretty good on the brakes. I got out a bit too early. I was worried about the overspeed. So it didn't work out for us, but that was my first look at him. I need to get this move done soon because in the last couple of laps, as always, the AI tend to turn their engines up. So we've got to try and go for it. But I'm really on the limit here. Like, I've not got much more pace. I'm trying to save some engine mode because if we do get in front, we need to keep this engine mode to defend afterwards, you know, because it's not going to be a one where we just overtake and the job's done. You know, we're going to get by, but then we're going to have to stay in front, which is another battle in itself as we pick up our first track extension. Let's try again this lap. And this time we're closer. This is going to be the one. Nice exit once again out of there. Now we turn the engine up, we're a lot closer on this lap. This would be an easier move. Here we go, we're gaining on the Red Bull. Use the overspeed. To the inside we go. Easy on the brakes. The tyres, of course, are not fresh anymore, so we've got to take it easy, but we do get the move done. After P2. Verstappen doesn't have the fastest lap, so for now it's only a 7-point swing, which is good news for us. But this isn't over yet. I'm not confident in pulling away from George Russell, to be honest with you. The Red Bull cars are much faster this weekend. Russell's right there. He's going to probably get straight back past, to be honest with you. Although, to be fair, we'll be okay actually. Our straight line speed seems pretty good. Very good so far. I'm happy with that. Seems like we can definitely use our straight line speed to stay in front. Got to say, Russell is not really making any progress on the straights. He's catching me right at the end, but it's too late. You know, the AI don't normally go for dive bombs. We are very slow, though. We're losing a second a lap now to Verstappen almost. He's really pulling away. But we're hanging on for now. I'm just not confident this is the true Red Bull pace. I know Russell will turn his engine up, and that's when you're going to notice a big difference on the straights. Here he comes. This is the one. Defending the inside. See Russell this time managing to catch me up on the short straight. We are going to stay in front, though. We're going to squeeze him onto the curb so he doesn't get the good traction. And we remain in front for a little bit longer going into the S's. But here we go. This is when the pressure is going to begin now from George. You're going to see a big difference, I think, with his engine turn up. Good thing is, while I've been in front of Russell, he hasn't really challenged me, so I've taken it very easy on my tyres, and suddenly I've got a bit of pace in these now. I can actually feel like I can push. I've also saved a lot of fuel and DRS, so this is good for us. We survive once more. Russell still yet to really challenge, and for now we're hanging on to this P2 quite comfortably actually. It was harder for me to keep up with Russell than it is to stay in front, which is very surprising. Russell's pretty close this time. This is closer than he's ever been. Here he comes. This time he has got a bit more power in his engine. We're going to have to defend the inside into the brake zone. Easy on the brakes. On the inside, there we go. We're keeping behind. Right, one more lap to hold on and we'll be okay. Let's keep it going. Right, here we go. Last lap. Try and get a nice clean exit out of there, which we do. Russell, though, to be fair, has had a good exit of his own. Here he comes again. Is he going to get close enough? Yes, he is. We're going to defend the inside one more time. Side by side to the brake zone on the inside. We squeeze him off, and there we go. Job done. We should be okay now. Unless Russell goes for some absolute crazy dive. No mistakes from us. Let's keep it nice and tidy. Damage limitation once again. I do have a bit of fuel left over, to be fair, and a bit of ERS, but that's okay. That's all part of the game. Easy now. Verstappen does pick up the fastest lap on the last lap, so he went for it right at the end and he succeeded. Here we go though, through the final corner, and it's job done for us. Damage limitation, the best we could have done, and it's P2 in the USGP. Get in there.
Okay. Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Right, so here we have the final race results, and it is confirmed Max Verstappen does win and also picks up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, the only man to do a lap in the 1:29, so a really strong pace from Verstappen. In the end, he really pulled away from us. Second place, though, for us, really good result as we get onto the middle of the podium, and George Russell in third place. We kept him behind, and to be fair, it was much easier than I expected. It was, like I said, it was hard to actually catch him and pass him rather than stay in front. Danica Fiat in the end, P4, and, you know, Red Bull outscore us here today by a few points. Sergio Perez is P5 ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi in P6. Lewis Hamilton, a good job to get to P7 in the Racing Point ahead of Valtteri Bottas in 8th, and then Pierre Gasly 9th with Carlos Sainz wrapping up the top 10. Outside the top 10, Nico Hulkenberg, Sebastian Vettel, of course, with issues to his car. Kimi Raikkonen behind him, along with Alex Albon, Romain Grosjean, Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, and finally Daniel Ricciardo was the last classified runner, with Charles Leclerc and Kevin Magnussen both having DNFs here today. In terms of the driver standings, though, heading into Brazil, the gap between myself and Verstappen is 34 points, and as it stands, Verstappen needs to outscore me by 10 points in the next race in Brazil to have a chance at the championship in Abu Dhabi. So it's looking good for us. We just got to keep it clean in the next race, and even if Verstappen wins, if we get second or third, we will be crowned World Drivers' Champion. In terms of the constructor standings, though, as we look at that table now, 48 points is the gap, and the maximum you can achieve between two cars is 44 points on a race weekend if you include the fastest lap. So, in theory, if Red Bull don't score more than 5 points in the next race, 5 more than us, that means, then it looks like we are going to be also crowned Constructors' Champions. But we'll see how that one pans out. Still a long way to go and 2 races to go in Season 6. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it and subscribe if you are new for daily Formula 1 content. And also turn on notifications to not miss any content from me, guys. That is going to be coming very, very soon, especially with the launch of MotoGP 20 around the corner. Also, finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But that is it from me here today at USA, guys. And I'll see you all next time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.